Hey guys, welcome back to Cinema Suitcase. Hi there. I am Kevin. This is Logan, my co-host, and today we are discussing the internet's perversion victim of 2017, It Chapter 1, unofficially.
Yes, of course.
And let's see. Introduction for me, or do we do stats?
Yeah. Let's just
get them out of the way.
Let's just get stats out of the way. So this film was directed by Andy Muschietti, which is directing the new Flash movie, which, shout out.
Oh, nice. I didn't even make that connection.
Yeah, I made sure to read this today. Screenplay was written by Chase Palmer, Kerry Georgie Fukana. This little guy. Fukunaga. And Gary Doberman. No, sorry if I'm pronouncing that name wrong.
It's all good.
Cinematography by Benjamin Wolfish. He's actually quite a good cinematographer because I think he's worked on a few of Zack Snyder's DC films.
Oh, nice! I didn't know that.
If I'm pretty sure he was the cinematographer for. I think we worked on.
Schneider Cut or.
Oh, sorry, not cinematographer. Original music.
Oh.
Sorry, original music. He did music for. I think he worked also on Blade Runner 2049. And then cinematography by Chun Hoon Chun.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And film editing by Jason Ballantyne.
Ballantyne with a B.
Yeah.
That's a type of drink, Ballantyne. D is always swigging those things. Alright, so, It. My initial impression, or first impressions with this, can I call it a franchise? It is a franchise at this point.
Yeah, it is a franchise, basically.
I didn't really know about it. I've always avoided horror until I was much older, say maybe 17 or so. That's when I started getting into it. And pretty much around that time, what really got me into Stephen King was It. Because I'd seen It, the 1990 version, the DVD cover, for years, and I thought, no, there's something sus about this clown.
Yeah.
And now in 2017, it was, the biggest thing on the internet when it was released. So, of course, I went to go watch that as well. And pretty much as soon as this version of the film came out, the first half at least, that's the only real exposure I got to It. And that's when I started to like the franchise.
Yeah.
There's not much to it either. I read the book because the book is infinitely better than the film because they have so much more to work with. But I'm curious to see what your take is.
Yeah, and you'll want to give a little shout out to that drawing?
Oh yeah, sure, of course. I can bring it forward because the mic is in the way. This is another drawing, another wonderful drawing by my mom. It's laminated so it doesn't get damaged. She makes these things for sale, so I'm just shouting it out now. But I really love her artwork and I had to feature it. Oops, it's hooked to my screen. There we go. Cool. What was your introduction to the...
My introduction, basically, I think I also heard of the 1990 version. I watched clips of it on YouTube. Never actually watched the full thing.
Same. I've seen clips.
I've seen clips of it, but I never watched the full thing. And then this movie was coming out. I don't really read Stephen King. I do read books. I am like a book reader as well. But for me, I don't really like Stephen King's writing style. Like he spends a lot of time describing things, describing things, and how something simple as a car driving from one point to another could be like 3 chapters in one of his books.
That's true. He is a very descriptive writer. I'll give you that. Sometimes it drags. Sometimes it adds a lot.
Yeah.
It depends on who you are in the book, of course. But I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, but I am a fan of Stephen King's stories. The Shining is still like my favorite horror movie ever made. Like I love The Shining. I love that story and that universe and everything. I love the sequel, Doctor Sleep, as well.
I was going to ask you, how about Doctor Sleep?
No, I love Doctor Sleep. Doctor Sleep was awesome. But yeah, so when I saw it was coming out, I was like, okay, cool reboot. Let's see what this is about. And I watched the 2017 one. I did go watch it in cinemas with my friends, and I really enjoyed the first It.
Same, like a friend of mine, a close friend of mine, we watched it together, and we were the only ones in the cinema. and they tied red balloons just to the top of the emergency exit stairway down on the stage.
That's very cool,
dude. And the manager for the cinema, he walked in as they first encounter Pennywise in that old abandoned house when he comes out the fridge.
Yeah.
And my mate almost jumped in my lap because he walked into the cinema with his light on. So we were screaming at the screen, and then we turned around and he was behind us with the flash, and my friend almost jumped in my lap out of fear.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, dude. You know that there was a group of people in the UK when it came out. I'm not sure if it was the first or the second film. I'm pretty sure it was the second, possibly. They left red balloons around sewers. Some areas in the UK, and people were like, I'm not going near there.
Yeah.
I'm glad they got a nice harmless prank in like that.
Yeah.
So I'm going a bit off topic, but it is it's a story of friendship. I mean, can we be honest?
Yeah,
it really is. Friendship. It really is a story of how strong you can come together when you have a neutral threat.
Yeah.
Like a threat everyone faces. Is neutral threat the right term I'm using?
More mutual threat.
Mutual threat. Neutral threat. That's like
Yeah.
a paradox. Excuse me. So there's an entity. His origin is only explained in the second, but he's landed in the town of Derry. It was once a beaver hunting village, and it slowly over the decades became a small town. And this entity, he enjoys eating children.
Yeah.
Children specifically because he says they taste better.
And they have more fear.
They have more fear. And I think someone argued this once, that his fear or their fears are a lot easier to embody than, say, an adult's fear. Say you're scared how you're going to pay the bills this month.
Yeah.
How do you personify that? But with a kid, it's usually something like an object or a person.
A creature or something like that.
Yeah, so it's easier to manipulate kids, I think.
Yeah.
So I think that's an interesting point that we don't really have to stay on too much. But point is, the film starts, it's one of our main characters, Bill, and his younger brother, Georgie. Bill is pretending to be gravely ill with some sort of...
but I can't come with you. I'm sick.
Yeah, dude, I've always thought that cough was sus. It is, but my goodness. Even so bad that the kid would be like, you're lying.
You're lying.
Anyway, Georgie, his younger brother, wants to go out, play in the rain, because we all did it with like leaves or something. Whenever there was a lot of rain, we used to race things in the
gutter,
the water channels. Yes.
Yeah.
So he essentially wants to do that with a paper boat, which he does, and unfortunately that leads him right up to this entity known as Pennywise, who is the antagonist.
Falls into a gutter, he looks down, and then all of a sudden there's Pennywise.
Hiya, Georgie.
Hiya, Georgie.
I don't know why he says it like that. It's funny to me. Anyway. Long story short, they have a bit of a conversation. You know there's something off about this clown.
This clown's sus.
He's sus. Why is he in the sewer? But if you've read the book, you know it's what he is. And if it's your first ever interaction with the film, you'll just wonder, like, what's this guy doing in the sewer?
I haven't read the full book, but I did. Well, when I read it, I did read the beginning bit with Georgie and the clown, and like I did read that like first opening chapters or whatever, and it was pretty.
They almost mirror each other, hey? How they did it.
Yeah,
the book and the film.
They did it very well.
Definitely. Anyway,
do they float? Yes, Georgie, they float.
I don't know why Pennywise sounds like Christian Bale.
Well, that's from the 1990 version. Because I remember I watched
Stephen Curry.
Yeah, because I watched Tim Curry.
Tim Curry. Who's Stephen Curry? Oh, that's a basketball player, I think.
Yeah.
Oh my.
But yeah. No, I went to watch the clip of how they did that scene in the 1990 version, and then Tim Curry's like, he's like, there's a bit where Georgie's like, do they float? He's like, yes. He's like, yes, Georgie, they float. It's like very, very exaggerated.
It is largely. Anyway, Georgie gets killed by Pennywise. He's pretty much the first victim of the time.
Pretty gruesome way as well. But he bites his arm off, and like you see Georgie crawling with like one arm, and I'm like, wow, that's very graphic and very gruesome, especially for a child character.
It gave me Candyman vibes. Just now that you mentioned it, remember in Candyman that first kid got wrecked in the bathroom.
Yeah,
and wow, it caught me off guard. Do you know what the rating was for this film? It was R, right? The second one
I
was
mean,
R, but
I
I'm
mean,
not
if there's
sure.
if there's a kid getting his arm ripped off, then yeah, it was definitely a R.
Okay. Yeah, I think it was definitely one of the highest
Yeah.
rating levels.
It's got to be. It's got to be. Yeah, it's got to be an R rating probably.
But I appreciate the director's Eni Muschietti's approach to our group of friends who we meet pretty much after that scene almost.
Yeah.
They're all in school. You get a real sense of camaraderie with these kids.
Yeah, they're basically it's similar to our. Well, yeah, it's basically it's how guys, especially at that age, talk to each other. They're trash talk each other. They make jokes about each other's moms,
Totally.
about your mom and everything. Like, oh, your mom is so fat, all that type of stuff.
Dude, the classics, and that's what I really liked about Eni Muschietti's approach, because in the 1990 version of It, I believe I haven't seen the full thing, but the kids come across as very PG.
Yeah.
They're very upstanding citizens.
Well, yeah, because it was a TV miniseries or
Yeah,
whatever. So because
that.
it was for TV, that means that they had to be even more PC and PG and everything.
More restricted. I get you. Yeah, you're right. It was a miniseries. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is the fact that he sat down with these kids and he's like, all right, you guys, you're gonna be swearing and talk how guys and anyone young would socialize when no adults were around. We don't just sit there oh, how are you today? We're like, nah, fuck you, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how we are, and I'm glad that he took that more mature route, because it came across as very authentic.
Well, I guess, remember, also it's It. It is one of the biggest... Okay, next to The Shining, it's probably Stephen King's biggest book.
Yeah.
It's basically The Shining... Okay, he's obviously written a lot of books over the years, a lot over the years. But It and The Shining are kind of those are the two big ones that you don't screw up.
Those are the titans, for sure. There are others, but I agree that those are the big ones.
Yeah, those are the two big ones that he did.
Definitely. Anyway, we meet these young children, and basically we meet their bullies at the same time. They're Henry Bowers and his gang of really unusual people.
Yeah.
Okay, they don't come across as unusual, but they're much worse in the book.
Yeah.
Much worse. Anyway, I don't really want to talk about how they're much worse, because it was 3 years since I've read the book, so details are hazy and I don't want to make mistakes, but they are definitely worse than the film.
Oh, wow.
They're a lot worse. Anyway, where do we go from after that? We meet Mike, don't we? The homeschool kid.
Yeah, the homeschool kid. He's at the farm, and then they got those guns. What are those things? Those things that he uses on the sheep.
I'm not sure what they're called, but it's basically a quick death.
It's a quick death to shoot them in the head or whatever. And then his grandfather's trying to get him to do it, and then he can't do it, and then the grandfather shoots the sheep, and then he says to him you can either be out here with us or in there with them.
It's basically a metaphor for life.
And somebody's gonna make that choice for you, and everything like that.
It's a harsh speech, and I think it was unjust for Mike to go through that, especially because he lost his parents. I mean, okay, it wasn't recently, given he was a young baby when it happened. I think in the book he was quite young. I'm not sure about the film. And his grandpa is very harsh on him, but I think it's supposed to be a bit of a character arc for him.
Yeah, it's meant to be a character arc, because
man up a bit.
Because towards the end, when they show that montage of what the kids do when they're alone, and then he does actually, he's managed to shoot the sheep all on his own.
Yeah, he leveled up.
He leveled up basically. Yeah.
This movie tends to. It doesn't drag, but it is lengthy in the middle, the Act 2. Because each of the kids have to go through their experience of meeting Pennywise and him.
They have to, and each kid has their own little scene with Pennywise where he's creeping them out.
He personifies their fears basically, but the one consistent thing seems to be they all see Pennywise at some point.
Yeah.
In his clown form.
Yeah.
And through their friendship of being bullied and hounded by these dudes, as well as sharing the idea of the clown and being stalked by him, as well as Georgie's losing his brother, they're all really close friends, and they start to share that, okay, there's this clown going around that's freaking us out.
Yeah.
And I think the like deal breaker, almost the game changer that makes them realize, okay, it's not in their heads, is when they go to Beverly's house after her encounter.
Yeah.
And then her whole bathroom is covered in blood.
But the dad doesn't see it.
He doesn't see it.
Only the kids can see the blood.
Which means that, they have to sort of keep it amongst themselves because only they can really work against it.
Yeah, basically.
Do you notice that in that film, all the adults are are watching the same bloody show, that kids show? Did you notice that? Every TV has that show, and there's a reason for that. I'm pretty sure it's like Pennywise voodoo magic.
I think it's more the sense of they're probably watching something completely... The actual parents are probably watching something completely different. When the kids look at the TV, they see that.
Oh, okay, possibly. Yeah, sort of like the house.
Yeah, like that. Like what you mentioned to me earlier with the house when we were watching it earlier today. When I was thinking about it now, I was thinking that probably the parents are probably just watching whatever they watch, and when the kids walk in, they see the TV. That's all they see is this show.
Yeah.
This kids show.
Thankfully, they don't really indulge it. But of course, this is, what year is this? 1986, I think.
Like 1980 something.
Yeah, it's the 1980s. So of course, that's when kids still went outside.
Yeah.
That was before the internet, and I'm glad that they did. They stuck with that, except the original. Yo, I'm getting this weird. Okay, it's fine. I'll have to circle back to it. But point is, they all have their encounter with Pennywise. They all learn of his existence, and they all make the connection of the town's history that he's a recurring thing. There's some sort of big event that causes him to come out of hibernation every 27 years. At least that's how the book says it. Because first it was the ironworks explosion, and then it was that shootout with the gang. I forget their name now. And then, of course, it was the Black Spot, that club that was burnt down by those racists. It's all, the book is so deep, yo.
Yeah.
Anyway, some big event always makes this thing wake up. And what he does is he feasts on the town's local children. So they, of course, go missing.
Yeah.
And they decide, no, we're gonna whoop Bozo the Clown's ass.
Yeah.
No more of this fool terrorizing our town.
Yeah, exactly.
The only thing that I told you about... when we were watching it earlier, was that scene with the projector. That was purely made for the film. It doesn't exist in the book at all.
Yeah.
But it's a nice way for them to encounter...
It all together.
All together, and then go off and decide, no, we know where he is, we're going to go and jump this fool.
And it's proper 3D, where, he comes out of the movie reel, he's like chasing them and everything like that.
I think I saw behind the scenes of that. It was almost like a miniature set. And then behind him was a green screen.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I went off topic. It just reminded me. Ow, just bit my gums. So they go over to Nebold Street, which is a street in the book as well, to encounter this fool, take him on. And they actually kind of suck at it. They really don't know what they're doing. They're scattered, but they learned that he uses fear and illusions to... Is
this when they go to the old crack house or whatever?
Yeah, the local crack den where you and I often hang out.
Local crack den and everything, yeah. Yeah, there's that funny moment where they're running down the hallway and there's those three doors, very scary and not scary at all.
Yeah, the fact that they redo that in the second film...
Well, I actually thought that was pretty funny in the second one, because in the second one, obviously, they see the doors and okay, now we know which one to go through.
Yeah, it's true, of course. No, I didn't mean to bash it. It's just I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
I thought they would maybe click and they would all be scary, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they weren't. Anyway, that scene, they actually weaken Pennywise. Because Beverly saves Eddie, they break his illusions, and they're able to just about...
she stabs him right through the face.
Yeah, that thing was epic. Plus, they make a reference to the teenage werewolf, because you remember how his glove rips and he gets those claws?
Yeah.
They couldn't do that for copyright reasons, but in the book, he actually features a lot of iconic movie monsters. So, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Frankenstein, the werewolf. He's got a lot of stuff like that. Even Jaws is in the book.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so thankfully he had those rights, but obviously the movie couldn't use that. Anyway, they weaken him, and I want to get your take on this before we continue the story. Do you see Pennywise as a performer?
Yeah, he is a bit of a performer. He's busy, there has to be a grand show.
He really does.
Yeah, he's a bit of a showman over there. It's kind of similar to with Batman with the Joker. there's this one really great episode of
The animated series.
Batman the animated series where Joker's frustrated because he's like sitting here and he's like busy. He's trying to come up with the latest scheme to try and kill Batman, and then it's more of a Harley Quinn episode. It's kind of where you see her origin and the mad love and all that type of stuff. And there's one bit where she like even like makes a suggestion like, oh, why didn't you, I just did this, and then that would get him, and then Joker's basically like, no, where's the laugh? Where's the showmanship? Where's the theatrics?
Exactly, it has to be a show, a performance.
It has to be a performance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you would agree he's a showman?
Yeah, he is a showman.
Because even when he gets stabbed, that's obviously the first blow to him in the sense of literally, but also like, whoa, these kids can actually,
they hurt him.
Oh, sorry, I didn't notice.
No, it's fine.
The kids can hurt me, but he still freezes for like a second, and then he turns around with the messed up jaw. And as he's leaving the room, he does a bow before he disappears back down the well. And I was like, this guy is showing off. He got his ass beat, but he's still showing off.
Or even when he's got Beverly down in the well, and there's that bit where he does the whole dance.
Oh goodness, dude! I asked you, what was that for?
Yeah.
I don't know what that was for, man.
Yeah, we were joking about that, and Kevin was saying to me what was the point of that? And I'm like, I don't know either, man. Because before I went to watch this movie, I remember it was just before. I remember I was gonna go watch it, but then it was a few days beforehand or whatever. And then I remember seeing a GIF online of them having that scene of Pennywise dancing. Everyone was going up about that. I'm just like, wow, it's not even a good dancer,
dude. And that's the thing, because if he had a smile or something, it could be
but he's just
interpreted as really creepy. But his face is so straight. Like you just gave your parents your report card. Yeah. That's how straight his face is.
Yeah, but can we? Sorry. Just to add to that, can we talk about how good Bill Skarsgård? It's Bill Skarsgård, right?
Skarsgård, yeah.
Okay. Let me just. Yeah, it is. It is Bill Skarsgård, because I know that there's the Skarsgård brothers, and I know there's other one. I think it's Alexander Skarsgård or whatever, and he's he's also an actor or whatever.
Yeah.
I could be getting his name wrong, but I'm not entirely sure. So
but this one I apologize. Is definitely Bill.
But yeah, Bill Skarsgård. Let's just say, how good of an actor is he in this role? He's so good as Pennywise.
He was built for this role, dude. I swear he reached another level of fame after this.
Yeah.
And thankfully he had the sort of charisma to play into it, because remember how they wanted his eyes to be skew, and then Andy Muschietti wanted to do that with CGI, but he could just do it as is because he had that lazy eye.
Yeah, he could do it himself.
That saved a lot of money. So there's a key example of how he was suited for the role. Plus the whole thing, it's similar to, remember how in Dark Knight Joker would lick his lips a lot?
Yeah.
Because his prosthetics were falling off his edges. He does the same thing with the spit because of the false teeth. Yeah. The spit kind of built up, and he would drool a lot. That wasn't planned, but it worked out well.
Yeah, it did work out very well.
What do you think of his outfit, by the way?
I actually like his design. His design's pretty cool. Because granted, I haven't seen a full picture of what Tim Curry's Pennywise design looked like in a very long time. But from what I remember, he looked a lot more like Ronald McDonald. He looked more like an actual clown.
Yeah, true.
He looked less like a creature. And I think this one, I really like the design because he does look like a clown, but it's very creepy. There's a lot of there's that creepy edge to it. You kind of look at him and you go, yeah, there's something not right about this clown.
It's probably I'd like to suggest it might be his desaturated clothing.
Yeah, the fact that it's very muted colors
and pale. Yeah, muted is actually a nice way of saying it.
Very muted and pale type of colors and everything like that.
Plus, he has the the paint. It's chipped or cracked, and that gives cracks. A really off-putting vibe. I don't know, and also occasionally he has the bells, because remember he has his one attack.
Yeah, basically. And then I remember we were even talking about this when we did our Suicide Squad episode, and I referenced the scene that Jared Leto's Joker has in in Zack Snyder's Justice League, and there's that bit where Batman throws sort of a line back at him because he's been taunting Batman this whole time. Batman sort of throws a bit of a line back at him, and then Joker goes like very quiet. He kind of like spazzes out almost, and I remember you actually referenced it in this movie where he's talking to Georgie, and then the two of them are like laughing or whatever. Then all of a sudden Pennywise just goes quiet. He just goes serious.
Dude, like that. They refer to it in the book as well. I think it's like his beast mode basically, where he loses his character play, and he's sort of primal and hungry, and he just zones out.
Yeah.
And he stares at you, and that is so creepy to me because he does it mid laugh, and then he just goes. And you're like, what the hell's wrong with this guy?
Yeah.
You need like a breath mint or something.
Yeah, it's awesome. And we're even talking about in Chapter 2. Obviously, we'll do it Chapter 2, at some point down the line. Don't want to spoil it for the audience, but we did that bit, the beginning bit where where there's that little girl underneath the stadium chairs.
Oh yeah,
and then she goes to go fetch something, and then she's talking to Pennywise, and then she says no, I'm not gonna be with you because you're a stranger. And then Pennywise just goes, he just has this face, just really.
He just goes so sad.
He has this emo face. It's so funny.
She completely ruined his vibe, and he was like a really woman.
She just completely killed his vibe.
And she was like, I'm going home now.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, goodness. They have two encounters. Yes. The first time they encounter him and they wound him, Ben is also wounded at that point. He gets a scratch, something here. Some sort of injury.
Yeah, his chest, his poor... I feel so sorry for that guy. His chest keeps getting cut and stabbed and...
Oh, dude. Anyway, Pennywise kind of gets in their head because even though Beverly at least points it out, he wants to separate them by having them fight amongst each other. But they go their own separate ways until eventually Bevy's... You see what I mean?
Beverly's.
See what this creepy worm is doing to me.
Yeah.
Beverly's father, the real assaulty kind.
Yeah.
He is killed, or he's knocked out at the very least. He has some sort of massive head injury because he's bleeding. Because it's hinted at that he, what can I say?
Yeah, that you could just... I think what we could just say is that, because obviously we can't say the actual word because YouTube will demonetize us, but basically, let's just say he's a bit too touchy.
A little bit.
A bit too touchy with her. Like,
you're my little girl, right?
You're my little girl, right? Yeah. Very, very creepy.
Anyway, she's had enough of him and his advances, so she bashes him and causes him a severe head injury that knocks him out, and Pennywise kidnaps her. And that pivotal moment is what gets the
kids back together.
Because they're like, okay, we're all gonna die virgins apparently, so we have to go and get our lady friend.
Yeah.
So they go back into the sewer because they know. Like, he left a message on the wall that said, "You die if you try." Which I mean, what if they were like, oh, "I'm not going then"? What would Pennywise do at that point?
He probably just sit there, just waiting, just like.
I mean, he has a lot of toys down there.
Yeah.
He can entertain himself.
Yeah, he would stop there. Then he just go, "Where are these kids? Good lord!" That is it. And then he gets up and he has to go find them.
Go get them.
I can just imagine Pennywise getting irritated.
He's sitting there at a long table by himself.
Yeah, he's sitting there just on a long table.
He's waiting. I can picture it. I wish that happened as a spoof.
Like a parody.
Yeah. Anyway, so they go and they decide to rescue Beverly, so they have to head back into the sewers, which is of course playing right into Pennywise's evil scheme.
Yeah, because he uses the sewers as a way to travel.
And he would probably know the layout a lot better than them.
Yeah, and I actually even mentioned that to you the one time when I was playing that game Maneater, where he plays the giant mutated shark. I even said to you because the thing is you gotta use this sort of the sewer tunnels a lot to get around and to
Don't you change hubs?
Yeah, you change hubs and you use the sewers to get to different hubs and stuff like that. Yeah, so
you were talking about Maneater.
Yeah, so in the game Maneater, when he plays that giant shark, there's actually because you have to. There's a lot of sewers that you swim through, obviously to get to different hub areas, but also to find a lot of collectibles in the game and everything. And there's quite a few fun little Easter eggs in that game. But one of the fun Easter eggs is that when you go down into this one sewer. And you look into one of the drains. It's blocked off by like a grid, so you can't like swim through or anything. But if you look to the one side, you can actually see Pennywise there. He's like standing there, and he's got his little red balloon.
This is above water, right? I imagine.
No, in water.
Oh my!
Under the water, he's like standing there.
Oh, he's playing Subnautica.
He's playing Subnautica, so yeah, it was awesome.
That's mint. Yo, that game is filled with Easter eggs. I'm not gonna
lie.
Yeah,
there's like there's like Rick and Morty. There's a whole bunch of different Easter eggs.
Not Portal. SpongeBob's house.
SpongeBob, Peter Pan.
There you go. There's a lot of stuff. I haven't played it, but I know there's a lot.
But anyway, what I was actually going to bring up to you with you, which was an interesting correlation, because I know you haven't read The Shining or Doctor Sleep, and you haven't you still get into those, and you haven't watched the movies yet. But in Doctor Sleep, there's this interesting bit where, because you were talking earlier about how Pennywise eats children because of their fear and everything like that. In the Shining universe, because this is all, Stephen King, I think, has even said in his Dark Tower series that all these books are connected. They're all part of like one big... In
some small way, yeah.
Yeah, they're all part of some big universe. So in Doctor Sleep, there's this group of like these like telepaths, because obviously there's these people who have like these psychic powers and abilities, and they call it the Shan. They have the Shan.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, and there's this group of like these evil psychics, and then they basically go around and they kidnap children because children have shine in them, and children have more shine in them than adults, because as they get older the shine starts to go away,
like fade away.
Yeah, so and then they basically eat the children, but not like physically eat as in like they absorb all of their shine into them or whatever. And so I thought that was a very interesting connection,
kind of metaphor, or a possible just connection. That's
connection of an shared universe that like kids. Not only does Pennywise eat them for their fear, but they also get hunted by these psychics for their shine and their powers.
That's fascinating. And it's actually true, because in that book of yours, the one you own, 11/22/63, by Stephen King, the kids, all 7 of them or 6 of them that are left, they are in that book. They make a cameo.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is great. And also in Christine, there's someone driving Christine the car, and then they drive past and they say they saw balloons in a gutter, and I was like, I see what's going on. So there is an interconnected realm. It's great.
Interconnected universe.
It's really, really clever. It took Stephen King almost like 4 or 5 years to write it.
Yeah.
And he said he usually takes about 3 to 6 months ish.
Yeah, because it obviously was a big project for him.
I'm glad he didn't shelve it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful work. Anyway, where were we in the story? After their first encounter, they're broken up. They have to get back together because Beverly is kidnapped. And we were talking about how straight-faced he is during that dance.
Yeah.
He was like, this is in my contract. I don't want to do it, but I don't get paid if I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't understand that at all. I'm sure someone will be like, okay, this is what it's for. And we'll be like, okay, cool.
Yeah, then they make a joke about it in the second one. And I'm just like, yeah, but you didn't technically... Because it's the the character with the glasses.
Richie, yeah.
Richie. In the second one, when they're adults, and then Richie makes that adult Richie. He makes that joke about Pennywise's dance and everything. I'm just like, yeah, but you didn't see it. Beverly's the one who saw it, and only she saw it. So
I guess she told them, but told them,
or maybe he did it to them to each of them at some point.
Maybe
he's like, oh, I gotta do this dance. Maybe that's why by the time he gets to Beverly, he's like, I'm sick and tired of doing this dance.
He's so salty. He's been doing it for this is his 8th time. He's like, oh, God's sake, here we go.
I'm gonna do this stupid dance.
Oh, bloody scene, man! I don't get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, because he knows the sewer better than them, he plays a lot of mind games with them. But I will say, Stan and Eddie, they're dumb as because they split up, knowing what they're going against. Eddie in the first encounter,
and then when Stan gets like injured or whatever, he's like, you brought me down to these sewers and everything. And then you're just like, you're the one who's separated from them, you idiots.
They were literally waiting for Mike to see what would happen up there, and then he was like, I wonder what's this way. And then he walked out and he got jumped. And then he's like, oh, it's your fault for bringing me down here. And I'm like, You wandered off.
Yeah.
You wandered off.
I don't think, although with in Eddie's situation, I don't think he wandered off. I think he was just headed back home, because I think the problem is this movie takes place at least over a few days. So probably it was after they were hanging out or whatever, then Eddie, and they were obviously all headed back home.
You mean when he meets the leper?
Yeah, when he goes past the creepy house, the crack house.
That wasn't, he didn't wander off there. I'm talking about when they have their first encounter, and
when they're going down the hallway,
and then the door opens and he's like, oh, guess I'll leave my friends and go see what's there.
Oh, what is this?
Dude. Especially him out of all people, because he was grown up and trained to be extra paranoid of everything. So he's least likely to go wandering off.
Yeah.
Because of his whole germophobia thing with his gazebos.
Yeah. They say, with the pharmacist's daughter, whatever, I can't remember her name. She says, like, it's placebos. It's like placebos. Like, it's. And then later when he confronts his mom, he's like, really, Mom? What are these gazebos? And he throws them down. It's like placebos, not gazebos.
Yeah, and the placebo effect is interesting to me, but it's not important right now. Anyway, they're still fighting. Or he plays a lot of mind games with them for a while, and he sort of separates them at the end.
Yeah.
Eventually, after trying to trick them, he gets frustrated, and they have a bit of an encounter where they fight him, and he ends up holding Bill as a hostage.
And then, like you said, well, before we get to that, like you said, he always has that one move that he does.
Yeah,
he runs towards him, he shakes his head,
That's his one freaking attack. He just vibrates, and then he runs at them, and I don't know why he does that.
I said to you, man, he's played a free to play game. That's the only attack that's free. The rest of them you have to pay for.
He has to buy the others.
Yeah. Or he needs to level up a bit more.
Yeah, he has to get more skill points.
Yeah.
It got irritating to me after a while, because that's his only attack. Anyway, it ends up that he has Bill in a bit of a hostage situation, and he cuts a deal. What I like is his gradual progression in makeup, because he looks alright, but as it goes on and later in the film, he starts to look more deranged and ragged and rough.
Yeah,
it's really cool, because it just shows you how these kids are starting to wear him down. He's probably sick of this dance as well. He's like,
it's like the 8th time I went to do this stupid dance. The first 2 times he does it, he's like, oh yeah, woo, woo, woo. And then after that, he's like, how many more times do I do this?
I want to get paid, so here we go.
Yeah.
And he makes a deal with the other kids. He's like, alright, you guys can leave and I'll go back into my hibernation, but I'm eating him.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much their only option.
You guys can live happy lives.
I love how he's like, until old age takes you back to the weeds. I love that line. What an unusual way of saying until you grow old and die.
Yeah.
Anyway, the kids are like, no, we're not leaving our friend. This is about friendship after all.
And then they fight him, they beat the hell out of him.
Yeah, I'm glad that Andy Muschietti gave it those spider arms.
Oh, yeah,
because that was setting up the second movie.
Yeah, is that crab arms?
It's sort of crab, scorpion, spider, something like that.
Yeah, like that. If he was an MK DLC character, that'd be one of his moves that he'd do.
XY.
Yeah,
just bash them.
Yeah, exactly.
And they use stuff that's lying around from his victim's toy pile where his caravan is chilling,
like baseball bats and
chains and all this loose pipes to eventually beat him. Because the thing is, he tries to get to each of them, but he can't defend from all of their attacks at once.
And they're all busy smacking him around, and his face keeps changing. He changes into that painting lady that scares Stan. Then he changes into something else. Then he morphs into Beverly's father. It's you're still my little girl. He's stabs him.
Enough of you, fool.
Yeah, it's stabs him.
And he actually becomes the mummy, which he does in the book as well.
Yeah,
like a actual copyrighted mummy. I think that was just a generic one, but it was a nice reference.
Yeah.
Anyway, they ultimately beat him because he can't defend against all of them, and they see through his illusions now. They know it's not real.
Yeah.
So he's kind of powerless, and he tries one last attempt as No, sorry, he's Bill Georgie before that fight.
Yeah, he's Georgie.
Sorry, yeah, I'm mixing it up. He is Georgie before that fight, but they see through his anyway. They know, okay, because it goes back to that line in the beginning where Bill said, "We call boats she," and then the fake Georgie is like, "I couldn't keep up with it," and he's like, "Oh, okay, I know you're not real."
Yeah.
Even though I think he would have known he's not real anyway, because it's been like a year.
Yeah.
How the heck's this kid surviving? Is he eating rats or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, they beat him, and he knows he's defeated, and he does that whole like Bruce Lee flip over.
Yeah.
I don't know why he does that. Like, I know it's to escape, I guess. He doesn't want to fight, but I don't know why he recites that little phrase.
Yeah.
Because if, as I said to you when we watched it, that phrase, that what he thrusts his fists against the posts, that thing, that's to help Bill lose his stutter in the book.
Yeah.
It's really bad. But I don't know why he does it in the movie. It's just a reference, or is it trying to get into his head?
Reference or Easter egg or something. Yeah.
And he dies pretty much not long after that. I think his death, quote unquote, is quite cool. With the like his skull breaks and brain comes out. I thought that was really cool.
Brain comes out and he's like, he like mumbles something and he's like, fear, and then he falls down. Well, his death in this one is a lot more epic than the one in the second one.
The second one, yeah, no.
His death in the second one is just, oh my gosh, it's so bad.
It's poetic justice. I kind of see what they were going for.
I see what they were going for, but it still looks freaking lame.
Yeah, no, it's like, well, you just got your ass beat.
Yeah.
You're gonna take your lunch money now.
Yeah, exactly.
No, we're gonna do It Chapter 2 one day.
Yeah.
We have to. And we'll talk about it more in depth then, but I see what you mean. The first one, his death is a lot more like, yeah, that was like sufficient.
Yeah,
it didn't feel underwhelming.
Yeah, exactly.
And well, that's it. So they've defeated him, but they come together as friends because they obviously no one will believe them. They're sort of bonding over this shared experience a lot stronger. They have a stronger bond now.
Yeah.
And they swear during, it's still the summer break where they get to have fun, and they swear that if it comes back in 27 years, they will all return to, beat him again.
Yeah.
To keep more kids from being killed. Which is actually quite cool. So they make like a blood pact.
Yeah.
And, Bill takes the glass and does kumbaya in a circle.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. Oh, there's also that like subplot of the love triangle.
Oh yeah, the love triangle between Beverly, Ben, and Bill.
Yeah, all the bees.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cute in a way. Of course, Ben is like, the high school kid that always gets bullied, so
yeah,
you wouldn't think that he would ever score with Beverly, but he does in the book, which is nice. But I mean, it's not likely a likely outcome. So of course she steers towards Bill because he's like the group leader.
Yeah, but she does end up with him by the end of part 2.
Yeah,
second movie.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
which is great.
Yeah. And then he writes her that poem, and then when she's alone with Bill, she sort of mentions it to sort of see if he was the one who actually wrote it, but it wasn't, and she was like so disappointed.
Yeah, shame. Felt bad.
Yeah, but I actually do like the dynamic Beverly and Ben have. It's pretty funny because when they first meet each other, she's like, because he's signing his book, and then she says like, oh no, you're the new, and then he's listening to music, and then she she takes it off to hear what he's listening to, and it's like the New Kids on the Block, and then she makes a joke like, oh yeah, you're the New Kids, so you listen to New Kids on the Block, and then later when they go to Ben's room, and they're busy she's showing them his research and everything, the other kids are distracted, they're all looking at the maps or whatever, and then there's that bit where she closes the door and she sees the New Kids on the Block poster, and the two of them sort of exchange that look, and then she closes the door again so the other kids don't see. But I love that moment between them. I love it
too. It's a little bit of a personal thing for them.
Yeah.
That he's trying to hide his fanboy, because he even ran into his room and threw all this memorabilia in the cupboard, but he completely forgot about the poster. Yeah. And then when she finds it, she's just like, oh, and he's like, oh, fine. Keep it between us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I love their dynamic. This whole group. They're so well designed.
Yeah, the kid actors in this one are very good.
Very, very talented. Especially Bill, because to come off with that authentic stutter.
Yeah.
Because it's obviously his is acted.
Yeah.
So it's ingenious. Because if you ever try to stutter as smoothly, ironically, as he does. It's not easy.
Yeah.
So it must have taken some practice.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think that pretty much covers the plot. They kind of whooped his rear, but he'll be back for part 2 because right at the end of the credits he does like a laugh. No one ever seems to wait for the post-credit scene, but that's a Marvel exclusive thing apparently. But there is a post-credit sound, so you know he's coming back.
I didn't actually know that there was a post-credit laugh.
I'll show you. I'll show you afterwards.
Oh, okay, cool.
But yeah, he has a laugh at the end, so you know, okay, he's coming back.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's kind of the film, and I like it. I think I may have overwatched it a few times because there's some aspects of the film that irritate me. Like, what's a good example? Oh, the first fight actually, where they're all getting spooked.
Yeah.
And they have to work out this is all illusions, and Eddie is about to get chomped. That kind of irritates me, that scene, because of just the way it's edited. I don't know, there's something weird about it.
Yeah.
Something really unusual. I don't know. Do you have anything that really salts your apples with this film?
Salts my apples.
There's something that you really just can't stand. Oh, I know what you can't stand. The fact that Bill's mom is playing the piano in the beginning.
No, that was just a bit of an inside joke with me and my sister, because my sister loves Stephen King as well. Okay. She's super into she's actually busy reading through his books now as well, and she loves like all the movies and stuff like that. And then I remember, because I went to watch it with her, and I remember when Georgie was getting into his like little raincoat and he was like running past the mom, and the mom was just sitting there just playing piano, like just not looking like she cares at all. My sister had this whole thing, the comment of isn't she concerned her child's about to go outside, he's going to get pneumonia for that rain? She always has that funny remark, so it's become an inside joke between me and her.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
But no, I'm glad that she is playing piano. She does it in the book as well.
Yeah.
Like that opening scene, all the way up until the title sequence, basically, is like play for play of the first chapter.
Yeah.
It almost mirrors it exactly. So when you read that book, that first chapter, and then you watch the film, they're mirror images. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that she is playing piano.
Does what's his face, Bill? Does he fake the cough? Does he fake the cough as well?
Mm-hmm. It's all bull, of course.
Well, okay. Was the book more convincing?
Well, in your mind, of course, you can make a convincing cough, but his in the film was like even a young like toddler, like a baby, would be like, that was try harder, dude.
Try harder. Exactly.
Oh goodness. So yeah, anything you don't actually like? Because I made joke about the piano, but
yeah, it's really hard to think of anything. I don't think there's anything. Okay, aside from maybe we've already made fun of him doing that stupid dance. Like that dance is kind of like freaking weird or whatever. But no, I don't really have much issues. I don't know. The bullies kind of irritate me. They're kind of very annoying, and also especially that like main one of the Mohawk or whatever. What's his name?
Henry.
Henry, yeah, like he's like just suck. He's like he's like just like every time he's like he's like, I'm gonna for my name, it's just cottage cheese. I'm just like, oh, jeez, dude, like calm down.
Calm down, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is very aggressive and serial killer-ish. Even when he wanted to shoot that poor Moggy cat, and I was like, you're evil, man.
Yeah.
You know that when he's broken out, in the book, he actually gets a ride back to Derry and Christine.
Oh wow!
Like the guy that uses deodorant as a flamethrower.
Yeah. His
like reanimated corpse gives him a ride in Christine.
Christine's in the Christine car.
Yeah. What is that car? I know the name. Hold on, it's right here, man. What is this car called? I really like this model of car as well. Now I forget it. Plymouth Fury. There we go.
No, okay, that's cool.
I love the Plymouth Fury as a shape of a car. It's really nice.
Yeah, it is very nice.
And he gets a ride back, and I was like, that's cool. I'm glad that he referenced Christine.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry, I geek out a lot about this universe.
No, I get you, man, I get you.
like, do you want to go to maybe shots we fancied?
Yeah.
If you don't have anything else to critique or say.
Yeah. In terms of shots, I really liked it. I have two specific ones.
Mm-hmm.
There's one where that bit where Eddie's walking back home. Obviously, when he walks past the crack house, and there's that bit where he's walking, and then the camera sort of like comes down like this and sort of looking up at him at his back while he's busy walking. I really love.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I really love that shot. Like even back when I saw it for the first time, I remember saying, "Oh yeah, this is very, very cool." Awesome. And also, it's I don't know, I just always like it. It's just a cool shot. But the bit where they're in the crack house, and then Eddie. Pennywise is about to bite Eddie, but then Beverly stabs him in the face and everything, and then he sort of turns around. He's it's sort of like that shot where you see him from the side. I really love that shot.
Like a silhouette of him against the light.
Yeah, I really love that shot of that full shots of him because he looks really creepy.
He does. Yeah, he really does. Especially when his jaw is all ripped and his teeth are skew.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, I know.
He's awesome. Those your two highlights?
Yeah, those are my two highlight shots that I really like.
I have some shots as well. I just wrote them down because my memory is horrible. Here we go. Oh, when Georgie puts down his boat in the water, right at the beginning.
Yeah,
it's a very nice shot. It's it's sort of like on the road basically with the boat. That's really cool. Also, when he's getting wrecked and then he's crawling away, there's that top down shot and you see the arm come out the.
Oh yeah, the arm come out of the guts to grab him and pull him in.
That was a really nice shot.
That is very cool.
And the third one is not really a specific shot, but it's the use of the Dutch tilt. Do you know how many they used? That slight obscure camera angle to really make you uncomfortable. I was watching it with you this morning, obviously, and they used that shot so many times, dude. And it really, if you're aware of it, you're like, okay, I see what they're doing. But if you didn't realize what the shot was meant to do, they really make you uncomfortable sometimes.
They do make you
Dutch
uncomfortable.
Tilts.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they incorporated so many, not overdone, but when it was going to add to the scene, they used them.
Yeah, definitely.
So that would be it. Takeaways?
Yeah,
I'm down for McD's. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, Burger King.
Burger King. Oh, of course, yeah.
Burger King.
Remember that beef between the beef.
Actually, no, Burger King is McDonald's. Yeah.
Yeah, it is McDonald's, but there was that beef between
Burger King
and McDonald's when Burger King was like, never trust a clown, and then they were promoting it, and I was like, I see this. See what you did there?
Yeah, exactly.
That was mint.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember this one review I watched, Jeremy Johns, he made this funny joke the one time where, I think he was doing a trailer thoughts video or whatever on the first trailer, and he's like, hey, Ronald McDonald, I'm busy eating a burger, it's from Burger King, and then,
he just came at him, he was like, oh, hell no.
Yeah, exactly.
Hashtag sponsor.
Hashtag sponsor.
That's pretty cool. Takeaways?
Just really good movie. I think my one takeaway is just they did a really good job of working with children, because working with child actors is very difficult. I mean, the thing is, sometimes you'll get kids who are good, who are well behaved, and will do their job and everything. But another time, the kids will just run off. They'll go do something else. They'll lose interest very quickly, and it's very hard to work with them and everything like that. So.
That's especially true for much younger children that are still learning to speak and that sort of stuff. Yeah, so it's very nice it's a very good example of how to work with child actors and everything like that. That is actually a fair point. I hadn't considered it. It's a good point. Otherwise, pretty good. I like how they do the horror in this movie. They did Pennywise perfectly and everything. Yeah, no, they killed it. It was Pennywise. That's why the internet fanboyed over him so hard. Yeah. Oh, your 2017 was a dark time to be a fan of it. Goodness. Yeah. all the cosplays and weird out there art. My goodness. Yeah. Actually, in fact, funny enough, there's actually of this this little poster here of Georgie and the Pennywise's arm with the balloon and everything. They actually made a parody of that. DC Comics, they recently put out this series called Deceased, which is kind of Marvel Zombies. Yeah, yeah.
It's basically like DC's version of Marvel Zombies, or whatever. But it's like this really cool. It's like a black image and it's a poster, and then it's like the little kid is Robin, and then basically it's like the Joker's arm with a little red balloon.
That's cool.
And it's got deceased in the red it font, and it was pretty cool.
Mm.
It's a pretty cool like a poster homage and everything. But yeah, no,
That
otherwise.
is pretty great, actually.
But yeah, no, otherwise I really enjoy this movie. It's a very fun. It's a very fun Stephen King story. I hold it up there with It Chapter 1 and 2, and then obviously Doctor Shining and then Doctor Sleep. There's like two good 2-part stories, horror stories. Yeah.
All right. For me, takeaways. I agree with yours about child actors, even though they can think like normal people, so they aren't that hyper, I don't think. But a takeaway of mine is. How do I word it? Don't be afraid to use like dark themes, because it uses very, very dark themes. I mean, there's the whole thing with Beverly's creepy uncle, daddy, father.
Yeah.
And it's also when she's in the pharmacy, and it's when she meets the guys for the first time. It's also her first experience with that other womanly experience. So
that womanly products that they have to buy.
That's obviously a bit of a shock for any person that has to go through that the first time, I'd imagine. So that's a dark theme.
And
Death.
Death, loss, everything like that. I think also one scene I really liked in terms of color and like shooting and everything is the scene where Beverly, obviously she's in the bathroom and then the blood pours out of the sink and everything, and it covers the whole room in blood, and then the father comes in, but the father can't see the blood, so he just thinks she's crazy or whatever. But I just love the use of red in that scene.
Same.
Like very good color and everything like that, and how the makeup on her, because she's completely doused in blood, and yeah, it's very very cool.
It is. I had the same thought when I watched it. I was like, there's a nice use of red color here.
Yeah.
Really great. I get what you mean. I had another takeaway. Do what Andy Muschietti did. He made the cast, specifically the main group of guys, he made them chill with each other and go and do fun stuff, like go to parks and stuff, so that they generated a genuine synergy.
Yeah.
So that when they were on camera, they had more interpersonal relationships.
Yeah, it's sort of similar to what James Cameron did when he was filming Aliens.
Mm-hmm.
That what he did was that one of the first scenes where the Marines all like sitting at the table and they're busy having lunch together, and they're all like having fun and like joking around and everything. Mm-hmm. He actually filmed that. That was actually one of the very last scenes that he filmed, because the thing is, and he said specifically why, was because the thing is, his idea was that after shooting the rest of the movie and doing all of those scenes together and everything, the actors would have gotten a bit more of a relationship and a chemistry between each other. So that's why he wanted to shoot the lunch scene like at the very end, basically,
because they had that relationship,
that authentic relationship. Yeah,
like a bit of a nice wind down after the rest of the film.
Yeah, exactly.
That's clever. Well played. Another thing I just want to say is, it's not really a takeaway, but I'm glad that Andy Muschietti allowed the kids to be as vocal as they were in terms of swearing, because this really would have been like a Scooby-Doo episode if that gang wasn't allowed to swear. And I'm glad that they did. Anyway, I think that would be it for takeaways. Like final thoughts and or rating?
Final thoughts. Really enjoy this movie. I enjoyed this one a lot. I think it's got almost the definitive version. Well, okay, obviously I know there's the book and everything, but I think for casual moviegoers, this is pretty much, for casual people, this is the kind of the definitive version of it and everything. Kind of the definitive version for me as well. And pretty good. And rating 9 out of 10. Very good.
Solid, yeah. I agree. For me, I appreciate the sheer detail they went through to get it accurate to the book. Obviously, they changed some aspects that are way too rated R for their movie. Yeah. And they swapped them out. But anything that is in the film that is also in the book, they matched its authenticity so well, and I have to commend them for that. There's a lot of details in the film that will fly straight over people's head if they haven't read the book. Yeah, I'm glad they did that. Yeah. So I would also, Yeah, I would give it a 9 out of 10 as well. Definitely a good watch. I'm glad it was the highest grossing horror movie of all time now. It broke that record.
Yeah.
And I think that ego kind of went to their head for the second one, but we'll talk about that when we get there.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one.
As I was saying before the camera really died, I was saying that the basically the source material accuracy of this book and the film is phenomenal. So I don't know if the camera died just before I said it or afterwards, but if you haven't seen or haven't read the book, those references go straight over your head.
Yeah.
And for anyone that has read the book, they probably geek out so much more over this film.
Yeah.
Because of that accuracy. So that would definitely be a highlight for me. Yeah. I said I'd give it a 9. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I take away from it, the reason I take away a point is that that weird scene of the first encounter in that crack den, our hangout.
Yeah.
It irritates me. I don't know why. It just does.
Yeah, I know.
Something about it.
Yeah, when we were filming our episode on another movie that will be coming soon, but we will not mention the name. I also mentioned that, remember, there was that sequence with the very weird editing. I remember it bothered me as well.
It was janky, and you were like, ugh.
Janky, and it was like, ugh, yeah.
I remember. Yes.
It's
one of my movies that you crapped all over, of course.
Yeah. So it was similar and everything. Well, now you're crapping on your own movie.
That's true. How dare I? I should just fanboy right now. 11 out of 10.
Yeah, exactly.
Other than that, I don't think I have anything else to say, other than just to give a sign out. I've said what I wanted to.
Yeah.
And are you satisfied?
Yeah, I'm satisfied.
Okay. Yeah, I'm thirsty now.
I'm also thirsty.
Definitely. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a like, share it, of course, and subscribe. If you're on one of our podcast only channels, then thank you for the sub and the listen there. Don't really know what else to say besides I am Kevin, this is Logan, and
thanks
guys.